Hello everybody, good evening and welcome to the United Stand. This is your latest Manchester United news and transfer news. We're going to be talking about Cristiano Ronaldo and growing rumours that he may return to Manchester United, and also on the evening that Paul Pogba starts playing in the Euros for France. Stories that Paul Pogba is going to spark a transfer race this summer. So lots and lots to get in with. We've also got a Jadon Sancho update, which I'll give you very, very shortly. And also around the centre-back situation, what's going on there if we don't get Varane, and Cavani talking about how long he will stay at Manchester United as well. But look, I didn't want to put Sancho in the title. I didn't want to put Sancho on the on the thumbnail or anything like that, because I think there's always a Sancho update every bloody day, and it's becoming boring. You know, it's becoming boring. The life is being sucked out of this deal. We've had another update today, which is coming from Germany. Patrick Berger, who's actually pretty good, and he says that add-ons are not the problem in the negotiation process. It's more about payment structures. Dortmund want a short instalment payment duration of 3 or 4 years to pay the transfer fee off. Manchester United want to do it over 5 years. The deal is not imminent, but still is very likely, and all parties expect it to happen. Jadon Sancho is not going to get any cheaper either, even though Manchester United, even though he's been left out of the England squad. Dortmund want 90 million euros as guaranteed sum. There was a first offer of 70 million euros, not a formal bid. That was part of negotiations. So still, it appears that both clubs are quite far apart in relation to where they need to be to get this deal over the line. And I was just doing a watch along there for the Portugal game, which we're going to talk about in a moment in relation to Cristiano Ronaldo. But I don't know about you, but just on this whole Jadon Sancho thing, I feel like we've always been mugged off a little bit. It's like it's close, it's imminent, it's not imminent, it will happen anytime, it could happen anytime, it won't happen till next month, it will happen tomorrow. And it just feels to me that, you know, in the absence of any truth, are we not just being mugged off? Because what better way to silence United fans than a false promise of optimism? We will get the Sancho deal done, but if it doesn't end up happening till July, we've all spent all of June talking about something that was never going to happen. So I just feel that we are being, obsessive about a deal that, and let's not forget, it should have happened last summer. It should have happened last summer. I said this as well. I feel that some United fans are getting well too excited about a deal that should have happened last summer. You know, it's a bit like it's a bit like Christmas Day, isn't it? You're told you're going to get a PS5, you're going to get a PS5, you're going to get a PS5, you're going to get a PS5. You open up on Christmas Day, you don't get a PS5. And then next Christmas comes along and they say, you actually are going to get it this time. Well, yeah, that's great, but you promised it me last year, you didn't get it me last year, and even when you give it me this year, I should have got it last year. So I think we will get the PS5. I mean, I think we will get Sancho, but I do feel like it's a deal that should have happened last year, and we're all begging for it. Oh, begging for it. And I bet the Glazers sit there and go, this fan base is just so easy to play. Look how excited they are for this big shiny PS5 that they were meant to get last year. And I do feel that we're just being day to day. I mean, I've had people who I trust say to me, yeah, it really could happen before the Euros. I know you keep saying it's not going to happen during the Euros, but it really is expected to be happening before the Euros. We're already nearly a week into the Euros. Still not happened. Another week is passing by. Still not happened. And yet people have told us the next 24 hours are key. It's going to happen in the next few hours on Sunday night. Where is it? Where is it? And this is what I mean. I like Sancho. I'll welcome him to the club. But to be honest with you, you're polishing a deal that should have happened last year. And that's the bottom line with it. Let's talk about Cristiano Ronaldo. So Cristiano Ronaldo, as it says, Cristiano United return. Ronaldo United return. Is it possible? Yes, it is. Now, I was speaking to somebody at lunchtime who said to me that I listened to your show this morning, and who's giving you that information. And I said on the show it's not information. I said, I've got no information that Ronaldo will come back to Manchester United. I've just got a funny feeling it will happen. And they said, well, you're not far off. Not that it's highly likely to happen, but it's definitely under consideration from both parties, and it's an option for both parties, and it may not even be dependent on a swap deal with Paul Pogba. So Cristiano Ronaldo to Manchester United could happen this summer. As I said this morning, I just got a funny feeling that it's more likely than unlikely. What does that mean? I don't even know what it means. I just think that those people who are saying there's no chance it's going to happen, I think they're wrong. I think there is a chance it could happen. I think the logical step is for him to go to PSG, because Ronaldo has done Premier League, he's done La Liga, he's done Serie A. He's obviously getting on in age a little bit, and playing in the French league, scoring goals against Metz and everyone like that is probably good for him to score a load of goals and then just keep himself ready for the Champions League games. The Premier League is very demanding, but it doesn't mean that it can't happen, and it doesn't mean that it won't happen. And I suppose the most important thing I would say, no, Soccermex, I didn't make a video on a funny feeling at all. I said I had a funny feeling this morning, you sarcastic twat. No, that is not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is that there's a lot of reports coming out of Italy and from other sources that Ronaldo will be leaving, and that Manchester United is a strong consideration for him. So that is news that I'm sure all of you've seen. What I'm saying is that we get this every single summer. And I actually think that this does tick the boxes, as I said this morning, that, you know, what the Glazers desperately want is a guaranteed shirt seller. And while Sancho is a big signing, he won't sell as many shirts as Ronaldo. He won't bring as much hype as Ronaldo. He won't make the club fan base feel $1 million like Ronaldo will. And whether you want Ronaldo or not, you're underestimating the power of Cristiano Ronaldo. And Manchester United might consider that. And of course, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer loves Ronaldo, so it can happen. I think Ronaldo would consider it. But I suppose the biggest question is, would you take Cristiano Ronaldo back? Look at France starting lineup and the bench. That is stacked. Which player could we get from Manchester United? Koundé and Koeman, for me, realistic, says Victor Leang. Well, we'll talk about that in a moment. Welcome to the Members Club, Jonas Adenzi, because the transfer race is about to hot up for Paul Pogba. So we'll talk about the French team in a minute. But I'm sure many of you watched it. I mean, I've got my Bruno t-shirt on. Thanks, Soccermex. Craig Irwin, thank you for the super chat there. I think that what was great today about watching Portugal is that the Bruno haters are like, Bruno was invisible. Bruno didn't play well. And I'm like, you know what? People really just don't like Bruno Fernandes, because Jota was crap. Bernardo Silva was crap. Bruno Fernandes, the keeper made a fantastic save from him from 35 yards out. It was a brilliant shot. And the goal that, I mean, it ended up being 3-0. But the goal that really got Portugal the win came from the pass that Bruno played from deep to get Rafa in, who played the crappiest cross ever, and they got lucky. But the pass from Bruno was brilliant. So I thought Bruno played quite well. But the most interesting thing for me in this whole Ronaldo question is, has Ronaldo lost it? Because again, I think Bruno and Ronaldo are quite similar. It's fashionable not to rate Bruno, even though he's a good player. And it's also fashionable to say that Ronaldo's finished. Ronaldo's still top 5 player in the world for me, comfortably. And he showed that again today. I think he had a bit of an off game. Like, he missed a good chance. He got his leap wrong a couple of times. But that final goal that he scored, just the speed. I mean, I thought he's got to be offside. But he's so quick, he makes himself look offside. The interchange, you know, fighting against two very physical centre-backs. He's modified his game to a level that is so impressive. He's effectively become a number 9. And he was never really a number 9. He was a bit of a, you know, it was almost like a bit of a, it's hard to explain what Ronaldo was, but he wasn't a traditional number 9. And he's almost become that. He's adapted his game. And he's also become one of the best in the world at it. So would I want Cristiano Ronaldo at Manchester United? Do bears shit in the wood? Of course they do, and of course I do. Of course I don't shit in the wood, but of course I want Cristiano Ronaldo back at United. Do I think we need Ronaldo? No, I think we need a centre defensive midfielder. I think we need a centre back. But look, if we can get Ronaldo back at Man United, I'd never say no, because as much as I like Cavani, and I do like Cavani, there's always been a world of difference between Cavani and Ronaldo. There's a world of difference between many players, and Cavani is a world-class player, but Ronaldo's just on a different level. So of course I would love Ronaldo at Manchester United, but there are reasons why I don't think it will happen, and Cavani would be one of them. And also, I don't know whether Ronaldo, look, as I say, I've said it many times before, why would a player want to come to play at Man United? Are you guaranteed of winning a trophy? But look, we'll have to just see with that Ronaldo thing. What I was told anyway at lunchtime was, in relation to that, you might not be far off. There are discussions about a Ronaldo deal with Manchester United, but you know, there are discussions about lots of deals, and that's floating around the media about that as well. But most of this depends on after the Euros. There's so many things after the Euros. And with Ronaldo, he's focused on the Euros. So there's not going to be any discussion about him going. The Pogba situation is not going to happen until after the Euros. So to sit here now and say Ronaldo's coming home, well, he's not. But things can change, and to think that discussions aren't going on would be ridiculously naive. Our biggest rival this window is not a Premier League club, PSG. Ronaldo, Varane and Pogba all could be at Man United, or they could all be at PSG, says Mohammed. Good point. We're going to talk about Pogba now. And Brad Lewis says, a question for you. Do you think part of the issue with players like Varane, Ronaldo, Pogba is that they are also very unsure that Ollie is a manager who can win things and be successful? Brad, I don't know whether you can level that at Ollie. I suppose you can. But you can certainly say that in a general sense, if you are Varane, if you are Pogba, if you are Ronaldo, as much as Manchester United's a big club, one of them's been here, one of them's still here, one of them probably would consider us in Varane. Are we a club that's going to challenge for a title? Are we a club that's going to challenge for a Champions League? And that's a real big question mark when you compare it to PSG, where, yeah, they will. You know, they've been in a Champions League final in the last year. What did they get to? A semi-final this year? Where does that leave Cavani? Why resign players and then not play them, says Omar. Well, look, all I would say about that, Omar, is that Manchester United have... I said this to you the other day. Ollie would get Harry Kane right now if he could. He'd get Haaland right now if he could. And therefore, he would get Ronaldo right now if he could. So the Cavani thing is a very, very good point. But it's well known that even with Cavani here, Solskjaer still wants another striker. Now, why would that be? I mean, Cavani has come out and said today that the World Cup's his last dance, and then he wants to go and spend times with his family and his friends. So this will be his last season at Manchester United. We know it's his last season at Manchester United, and also the World Cup will be his last tournament. So Cavani's only here for a year more. What I would dig even deeper into that is that in relation to Cavani, he's probably going to play somewhere between 50 and 70% of the season, and the rest of it is going to be injured. Because that's the way his last 2 years have gone. So Cavani won't play every game anyway. So maybe that's why. But Solskjaer does want another striker. If you said to Solskjaer, Harry Kane's coming and we've got the money, do you want him? He'd do it. Haaland, he'd do it. Ronaldo, he'd do it. So whether you agree with him or not, he would do it. So there you go. Advath says, Mark, Ronaldo would be the perfect marquee signing for the Glazers, would completely put the fire out of the Glazers movement and at the same time make the fans forget about other transfer priorities. Advath, this is why it wouldn't surprise me. Ronaldo will bring pounds and players to Manchester United as Havertz. But the most important thing is, wherever Ronaldo goes, I still think he's a world-class striker, and I think he brings leadership and a very, very enhanced chance of winning titles. I think that's what you get with Cristiano Ronaldo. On Paul Pogba, Pogba's kicking off at 8 o'clock. I'm doing a watch-along for that on That's Football. You can join me for that one. Pogba against Germany. France against Germany. Man United, we're looking towards the future. Also, Manchester United, let's sign a 36-year-old who left us 10 years ago, says Red Baron. Well, I know what you're getting at there, Red Baron, but I also think that United side isn't winning things because it hasn't got enough leaders in it. You know, what happened in the semi-final in Rome, that whole team bottled it, apart from David De Gea, Cavani and Bruno, who, surprise, surprise, are all experienced leaders. So you can talk about building for the future, but we already know that team is a bottling team. It's a good team, but it can't get over the line. So it probably does need a couple more leaders in it. And I think people like Cavani, like Bruno, like David De Gea are very important in that squad because the rest of them just seem to bottle it, even though they're good players. It would probably mean the end of Martial, I agree. Got my United stand Manscaped 4.0, but the girlfriend asked me if it comes with a magic bean. Kevin McTee, love it, love it, love it. Paul Pogba, let me talk to you about Paul Pogba, because that was the conversation I was mainly having at lunchtime about Paul Pogba. So basically, Paul Pogba, this belief that nothing's happening with Paul Pogba is a false dawn, basically. Paul Pogba is not just sat there going, I'm going to wait till after the Euros, because there's more to it than that. I mean, Paul Pogba is going to be playing football for Manchester United in 2 months' time in mid-August in the Premier League if nothing happens. 2 months in football goes like that. Do you really think Paul Pogba is sat there going, I've got no idea what's going to happen? Do you really think Mino Raiola is sat there going, playing bloody top 11 manager or something like that instead of working? Do you really think Man United is sat there going, I wonder what's going to happen with Paul Pogba after the Euros? And do you really think PSG, Real Madrid, Juventus, or any other club that might fancy Pogba are just sat there going, things are happening. The transfer race is hotting up around Paul Pogba, because to do a deal with like that, you can't just ring United up at the end of July and go, we quite fancy Pogba. Yeah, let's do a deal. Things are happening with Pogba. No definitive decision has been made, but the transfer race is starting to hot up. And what I mean by that is clubs are interested. They want to know what the fee is. Raiola is starting to inquire, which is what we do. You know, he is starting to inquire with other clubs, and Pogba is happy to see what those offers are going to be and what United's offer is going to be. So it's interesting, especially in relation to this tournament. If Pogba lights it up, that might not be a good thing for us United fans. If Pogba lights this tournament up, which I actually want him to do, but when you think about it from a United point of view, we've got no say on Paul Pogba. He's got 1 year left on his deal. He's a very attractive asset at 28 years of age. And if he lights this World Cup up starting tonight, then that transfer race is going to get hotter and that list of teams chasing him bigger. So all I would say is about Paul Pogba, there just seems to be this sort of mushroom mentality of, you know, sitting in the dark and expecting, oh, it will happen in July. It will happen way before July. If a club decides they want Pogba, expect, and I was told this at lunchtime, expect things to start happening with Paul Pogba before these Euros are over. Not in relation to a deal, but in relation to, if you think 5 years ago, we signed Paul Pogba at the end of July, but all through those Euros, it was United, Pogba's going to happen, United, Pogba's going to happen. And if Pogba's going to go, expect those things to start happening. The reality is at the moment, nobody really knows what Pogba wants to do. Nobody really knows what Raiola's working on. But there are things being worked on. Look, I was even told it could be a brand new contract at Manchester United. Unlikely, but it could be. But definitely things are being worked on. And Raiola is keeping his cards close to his chest at the moment, especially with the fact that he has got quite a few players that could be making a move. If Ronaldo comes back, he will attract Zidane, says Ethan. Well, Ollie would have to go first. Yep, Ollie would have to go first. Can you guys peacefully watch Germany versus Portugal? Says Siddharth. It's not on tonight. It's France versus Portugal. Anyway, a couple of other things to talk to you about as well. In relation to the centre-back situation. Well, I'm trying to figure out how to sort of get this through. So, Varane, PSG is the story. United want Varane, but it looks very unlikely that we can do the deal. So as I said, I think this morning or last night, if United don't get Varane, you're going down to Torres, Ben White, Koundé. Now, I didn't get a chance to talk about this morning because we got dragged into a Lindelof argument, didn't we? And look, even Rio Ferdinand said, I question Lindelof personally in relation to him being good enough for Manchester United. And look, I don't always think that ex-players talk sense, but you know, Rio Ferdinand's played as a centre-back for Manchester United. And I think he said before that Maguire and Lindelof make him feel very nervous. We need to buy a centre-back. We need a centre defensive midfielder. But what I did want to bring in that I totally forgot about this morning. Were you impressed with Pau Torres last night? Because I'm yet to be impressed by Pau Torres. And yet so many people I like and respect, are almost obsessive about Pau Torres being the right player for Manchester United. And I'm like, I don't see it. He reminds me a lot of Harry Maguire. He reminds me, and Harry Maguire's a very good centre-back, but that's my point. If he's similar to Harry Maguire, how are you complementing each other? You know, let's look at Rio Ferdinand and Vidic. Vidic, fantastically brilliant in the air, goes and wins anything, leader, strong. Ferdinand, quick, good on the ball, complement each other. Bruce and Pallister complement each other. Torres and Maguire, where I'm yet to be impressed. And we've got more games to watch Torres, and I'll admit I've not watched loads of him, and maybe other people who have seen more to him. But I watched him last night and I was like, I'm not seeing this centre-back that's going to really take us to that next level. I'm not seeing a centre-back that's massively better than what we've got. And that's what the whole point of getting a Varane is to get that world-class centre-back, which it looks like we're not going to do. So for me, I'm still... And look, don't sleep on Ben White. United do like Ben White. For God's you know, an English back four terrifies me. It could be an English back five. But the one that jumps out for me is still Koundé. Oh, he's small, Mark. Oh, he's not as good as you think. But the thing about Koundé is he's very different to Harry Maguire. And they would complement each other very well. Look, Sevilla play a good brand of football. He's used to having the ball on his own, bringing it out from the back, passing it out from the back. So he's good on the ball and he's fast. And I think Koundé and Maguire would work really, really well. So for me, if we're not getting Varane, I really hope it's going to be Koundé, because at the moment, I'm just not convinced that Torres and Maguire complement each other. And also, Torres is a left-footed centre-back. How many times have you seen Harry Maguire, even though he's right-footed, Harry Maguire always seems to look much more comfortable as a left-sided centre-back, and Koundé could be the right one. Thoughts on influence of Pogba on Varane, says Pradyuts. Well, mate, it's the influence of you on your mates. It's the influence of your mates on you. You know, if you're on holiday with your mates and your mate works at HSBC and you work at Lloyd's and, I don't know, name me another bank. The Bank of Scotland want to employ you. And your mate at HSBC is going, no, come to us. You're probably going to go there, aren't you? Or don't go to Bank of Scotland, they're shit. So, of course, Paul Pogba in a room with Varane for 3 weeks is going to have a big influence on Varane's decision, because he can say, yeah, it's a good club to go to, or no, I'm thinking of leaving. And it would be naive not to think that. But I don't think Manchester United are going to get Varane, because I don't think we're capable of getting Varane. I don't think we're good enough to get Varane. But if Pogba stayed, maybe we could get Varane. But I don't know. I don't know that Pogba will want to do that. Advas says it's basically peer pressure. I don't think it's peer pressure, because peer pressure is forcing somebody to do something they're not sure about into doing something that you want them to do. I think it's advice. You know, let's use the PS5 again. If I'm thinking about getting a computer or a console, and somebody's saying Xbox and someone's saying PS5, but somebody I trust says, trust me, Xboxes are good, but get a PS5, I'd be like, I'm going to get a PS5 because I trust that person's opinion. Red Devil Dazza, hi Mark, can you wish my brother Jay a happy birthday? He showed me the light as a young lad to support United from his little brother Darren. Happy birthday to Jay. Hope you have a good day, Jay. Tom Oakley says, surely Pogba leaving is a good thing. He's not been good enough at United and actively contributed to our exit in the Champions League, with ill-timed comments coming from his agent. Oh yeah, Tom, I mean, look, that's your opinion, mate, but we'll be so much better without Paul Pogba, won't we, when we've got bloody McFred and Matic and Mata. You know, of course we're in a worse position if Pogba goes. If I was Carrick, McKenna, Mike or Fletcher, I would improve Ollie to get a CDM. Implore Ollie to get a CDM. Torres would work with a CDM, else it's Magaluf and Ollie out by Christmas, says Srinvasan. I was making love to my wife last night and I shouted out Sancho, says Dave. We really need to get this deal done, as it's affecting my marriage. Oh, that just leaves everybody with a horrible thought, really, doesn't it? But there you go. Bring home Ronaldo, please, says Saranda Singh. The issue is not Pogba leaving, it's our board replacing him, says Paul Robinson. And I think that's absolutely spot on. I don't necessarily disagree with people that think it's time for Pogba to move on. I've said many times myself that I think it's probably time for Pogba to move on. I said it last year that it's a bit like a marriage. It doesn't need to be a horrible breakup. It's just not working. So go your separate ways. The problem is that the world that we live in now, if Pogba goes, like Paul says, who do you replace him with? That's the issue. I can see why it might be time for Pogba to go, but he's such a good player. What are you going to replace him with? Like, that's the problem. And also, I think that this transfer window for me is starting to worry me, in the sense that, are we just being played? You know, a deal that should have been completed last summer is now dragging it, you know, way into this summer. In Jadon Sancho, you know, this should have been delivered last summer, and now it's becoming this summer's signing. I mean, it really is like being John Lewis, and you've got a load of Halloween stock from last year that you didn't sell, and then you get it out this year and everyone buys it. That's basically what we're doing. We're being resold last year's story, and it's dragging into this window. So people will go, well, no, let's be fair. Murtar and everyone, they've done a great job. They've got Sancho. Well, no, they haven't. They have got Sancho, but it should have happened last year. And this Varane story, well, what if it's a load of crap? What if we don't get Varane? It's just a story. And what about the CDM? Well, if we talk about it, but it doesn't happen, it didn't happen. So, I've said this so many times. I think this summer transfer window could be a lot of smoke and mirrors. It could be a load of nonsense. Because if you stir the pot of nonsense, and people get excited about it, but nothing happens, that's brilliant business. How about, imagine if Apple, promoted this amazing new phone. Oh, it's going to be the best phone ever. And everyone gets excited about it for 3 months. Oh, it's amazing. I can't wait to get it. Oh, Apple are great. Oh, well, let's interact with Apple and talk about their phone. Oh, it's amazing. Oh, it's absolutely amazing. 3 months. Oh, it's going to be brilliant. And they go, actually, we're just going to slightly change the old model. Sorry. Oh, it didn't happen. And I fear that this summer. I fear that we are... the Varane deal is clearly not going to happen. A centre defensive midfielder of the quality we want is probably not going to happen. Sancho is going to happen, and that's going to be the big marquee signing. But basically, they're going to sell this transfer window as a good transfer window on a signing that was the marquee signing last year. How is that progress? How is that not manipulation? So United have got a lot of work to do in this window to convince me and many other fans that there is genuine progress and that we're not being manipulated. But the sad state is that you go on social media or listen to the guy there, Dave, and what he's done with his wife, and they're like, oh, Sancho. Sancho's a great player. I really do think he is that. But the excitement and buzz around this window is somewhat manipulative. Because this deal should have been done last summer, and now it's all about this deal this summer. Drag it out, hold the new kit up. But it's last summer's signing. Could be worse, Dave. I made love to my wife the other day and shouted out Phil Jones, and I vomited everywhere, says Galactic Sabres. I'm not loving this. And Mark, we should sign Sancho. Use those funds for an amazing centre-back and give Diallo a shot. We shouldn't sign Sancho, says Victor. If we let Pogba go, we got extra funds to look for a replacement. Victor, we won't get much for Pogba. McGinn as a Pogba replacement, my God. If we bring McGinn to Manchester United, then, who's behind that? Darren Fletcher? Passion merchant? God, no. John McGinn at Manchester United? Bloody hell. No. We're Manchester United, for God's sake, James Garner will be a good player. I think it's very unfair to expect him to be ready right here, right now, to be honest with you. Goodbye, Delight, with your silly delight, stupid comment that you keep going on and on about. Pedro Gonzalez if Pogba leaves. Calvin Phillips for CDM. Why do I get a feeling we'll sell Pogba and replace him with Garner, says Martin B. Because that's, I want to be proved really wrong on this, but if I'm absolutely honest, where I'm sat right now, I see so many smoke and mirrors. I see a load of nonsense, and I see United fans being manipulated. And look, you know what? They need to deliver this summer. Are they going to deliver? And at the moment, it feels to me like this Sancho signing is being hyped up, and fans are falling into the trap of hyping this deal up and making it out to be this big marquee signing. But how can it be a big marquee signing when it was meant to happen a year ago? Where's the progression? Where's the reform? Where is the deliverance of players to make us close a gap on Man City when we finish second again? 3 years ago this happened. History is going to repeat itself. Sancho is not the signing on his own that makes the difference. We need 3 big signings this summer, and one of them has got to be a centre-back, and one of them has got to be a centre defensive midfielder. And already the centre-back signing looks like being a huge letdown, because Pau Torres, Jules Koundé, Ben White are not the world-class centre-back you need to go and win titles. I hope one of them does end up being brilliant, but ultimately, where is the thing that we're always lacking? And you get Joel Glazer giving out all these comments about, oh, I love Manchester United. It just gets me going, and bollock, absolute nonsense. If you really got going by Man United and you were the owner, you would want Manchester United to be the biggest club in the world, and then we're not the biggest club in the world because you run it. So don't dare put comments out about how much you love Manchester United and how it gets you going when you own it. If I owned Manchester United, I would not have behaved like you have over the last 16 years. I would make sure that I was backing my managers, and I would make sure when I spend money that I was spending money on first or second choice targets. I would make sure that this club was exceeding and achieving the levels that have been set out over decades. So don't sit there and say, I love this club, I'm really into this club, oh, it's everything. You're a liar. You're an absolute liar. And there's a massive list of why you're a liar. You don't deliver what this club's all about, but what you want to do is manipulate things and make people think that you do. And if you can come out of this summer with Jadon Sancho as your marquee signing and a few subpar transfers again, you'll be rubbing your hands together and counting the bank balance again. And that is basically what I'm fearing happening, because at the moment I don't see any direction in this transfer window. It feels to me like a Jadon Sancho signing, which I really want to happen but wanted it to happen a year ago, is the be all and end all, and it's stringing out, and we're negotiating with Dortmund on a Jadon Sancho deal again, having spent last summer negotiating with Dortmund for Jadon Sancho. We are spending time negotiating again when we've got a list as long as your arm of transfers that need to be done. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. But look, let's hope. Let's hope that, this is the calm before the storm and there will be a deliverance of top quality players. And as I said, it wouldn't surprise me if we did try and get Ronaldo. If is Heaton our only signing this market, I'm going to send Dog Turd to the Glades. Well, Michael, he won't be the only signing. He won't be the only signing. Anyway, look, we're only 15 minutes away from France versus Germany kickoff. I'm going to be on That's Football. Make sure you have a search. The live chat is open there, and I'll see you over there. So thanks everyone for watching. Make sure you smash a like on the video. Subscribe bottom right hand corner. Let's go and watch France against Germany and Paul Pogba. I'll see you over there in a minute.